Dedicate a small team tasked with planning and implementing the migration too. Planning and migration, both. We're talking about application data security, network infrastructure security, and again, the things that we've been talking about.
All the security teams.
Yep, they all need to be involved. Yeah. And then choose a path. So, going through an example here, considering user and device identity, how are you going to authenticate, and what manages those identities?
Yep, and this kind of goes into one of the points on the work environment in your team, and to some degree cost. Like multi-factor is great if everybody's got a phone accessible with them that has the Google Authenticator, what have you on there, if they're using password vaults. Biometrics are great if you could afford to buy devices or buy fingerprint readers for everybody, but
you might have ID cards that
ID cards, exactly,
that land you a second factor. And then we have considering applications and data. This is very high level in this, but container security is something to be considered too. Cross-system integration with via APIs. Choosing a path with a network. And this is going to look different depending on the solution that you're implementing with Zero Trust, because again, it's not a one size fits all. Some folks say, hey, move everything from the network into the cloud. Everything has to talk to the cloud to do anything. I think that's very aggressive to do that, and it means that if you're Zero Trust, if it creates failures, so you have to understand how that's going to work if you're going to do something like that. But it is a viable approach.
Yeah, and this is one of the steps in particular where you want to look at redundancy. You could have everything run through like an AWS hosted authentication server or something like that, but what happens when AWS East goes down and nobody can do their job for the day? You always want to make sure that what you've got in place is accessible for everybody that needs it whenever they need it, with a very high level of certainty that will be available at the time.
Right. So again, things to consider on this. What extent do these controls provide dynamic, granular, end-to-end trust frameworks that don't depend on pre-existing classifications, and what are the knowledge gaps? So review the available technology, launch key initiatives, define operational changes. And this is something that the Zero Trust team would kind of use as a guide.